Welcome to my 5th video, and today I will be dropping my stakes back to 5 cent, 10 cent. Previous time I was playing 10 cents, 25 cents, but I figured that I should just be playing the micro stakes basically, so I've decided not to play higher than 25, 10 cents, 25 cents. So this time I've started 4 tables of short-handed games. So let's just dive right into the action. I have been playing for about 2 minutes so far. Here, Jack 6 suited, I think it's okay to just limp and take a flop. Once again, I would like to emphasize that if you're not comfortable with your post-flop skills, this should be a hand that should be folded right away. But I'm pretty confident in my hand reading skills, so I've decided to just take a flop with my suited hand. I believe I can make good informed decisions against them. But this guy bets so big. I have ace high and a gut shot, but I think I'll just fold. I think he's pretty strong given his bet sizing. So I can briefly give a description about 5-10 from what I know. I haven't really been playing such low stakes for a long time, but I believe at 5-10 players know when to get aggressive. They are capable of re-raising pre-flop with bad hands such as this. And I think this guy is a regular who is aggressive, so I think he will give me credit, and I expect him to be stealing from the button with a wide range of hands, so I think that's a pretty easy re-raise pre-flop. That's my read on him. You can actually search his name, and if he is sitting on a bunch of tables, or if he is if his name cannot be found in the search feature, then it is way likelier that he's a regular, which means that I can get away with such aggressive plays more often. So he re-raised me. I also think that this guy's a regular if I'm not wrong. Let me check his name. So he's on 3 tables and a tawny, so usually bet players or recreational players tend to play 1 table and maybe 1 or 2 tables and a tournament. This guy's playing 3 tables plus 1 tournament. I'm not too sure whether I'm still of the opinion that he's a regular. Of course, this is not always the case, but I guess it's a decent way to get reads, given that I have no other information. And if you haven't watched my previous video, I did explain my statistics then. So basically there are only 3 numbers that are quite significant. The first is the TU number, VPIP, or it's basically the percentage of hands played. VPIP stands for voluntarily put money in pot, which basically refers to the percentage of hands played, excluding the times where you just check in your big blind, because that is posting the big blind involuntarily. The red number is the PFR, or the pre-flop raise, so it is just the percentage of hands with which the player raises with pre-flop. And the yellow number is the 3-bet stat, which is basically how often the player re-raises pre-flop. So here I have a limper. He has 40 big blinds. He is a 50-0 over 6 hands, so he has been playing half the time. I think it's pretty loose and passive, since only passive players tend to limp pre-flop. I think I'll just check, given the fact that it's a half stack. I'll just bluff at this flop. Here, without info, I'll just fold. I don't really know much about him. He has a lot of gut shots that could call me on the flop. I don't really want to check call the turn. I think I'll bet again. Bet big. He's down folding a jack. I'm trying to fold out a 6 or an 8. And I think I get to fold out his gut shots as well. This is a pretty terrible card on the river. 9-10 got there. Queen 10, Queen 9 all are improved by this card, so I'm just giving up. Here I do have two options. I could try to show my hand down, or I could just turn my hand to a bluff by betting. I think betting and checking are both fine. I think given that I've backdoor flush draw, I rather just bet. I could bluff a lot of turn cards as well. Six, seven suited from middle position. I'll just raise. The bad thing is that this guy is super loose, 78-11, so he's playing almost every hand, or rather 3 out of every 4 hands. This guy is from Ukraine. Players from Eastern Europe tend to be of the aggressive type, Russians and Ukrainians. I think he's a regular, and I think he's just raising with a wide range to isolate this guy. I'm going to go for a 4-bet bluff. I don't really give him credit. He raises over the top, I would review my analysis, and if he calls here, I'll be assuming that he's weak. Yeah, and he folds, so. And here, I don't have anything except an open-ended straight draw. I'll just shove and hope he folds a hand like ace-king. Oh my god. Okay. So, if he could show up with Jack-7 suited, he could also show up with a lot of other crap hands. So, I mean, I'm pretty happy with my play. I'm representing a very strong range of hands, whereas he can have so much hands. Just think about it. How often is he going to have a flush draw? He could easily have a hand like Jack-6, maybe Queen-10 without the flush draw. All those hands would have to fold. King-Queen would also have to fold. Of course, whether he folds or not is questionable. But actually, based on my statistics, it shows that he hates folding the continuation bets. He folds 2 out of 6 times so far. So that might have made my hand my bluff bet. But basically, I had an open-ended straight draw, so my chances of improving to a straight was about 35%. So I'm not really unhappy with my play. I expect him to fold quite often, and it was only almost a pot-sized bet left. So I'm not really risking that much. I probably need him to fold about 1/3 of the time for my play to be good. This guy's a 56 player, so I think he's loose passive, and when he raises, I would assume he's strong. So with such a weak hand, I would just fold. Of course, I might call. I mean, calling is fine. I think I can outplay him, but folding is fine as well. If he raised 30 cents or smaller, I would be more inclined to call. I made it 4 big blinds, so I don't think I like the idea of calling. Here, I think I'll just take a stab here, hope he doesn't have the king. The flop and turn were not that great cards to bluff because it was quite coordinated. When he has checked the flop and turn, I think he probably has nothing. I could represent a king. I think I can re-raise or I can call here. The bad thing about calling is that this dude, this Ukrainian guy, keeps re-raising me. The good thing about calling here is that I want the bad player to come along. I think I'll just call and hope this guy doesn't squeeze, which is a pretty decent result. He leads out, and I think he's really passive. He has an ace pretty often. When the other guy calls, I'm definitely out of the hand. Here, when this guy limps, King Queen suited is really strong against his limping range, so clear a raise. 5-4 suited, I'll just raise to 2.5 big blinds. Okay, so I've seen him make random bets. Which is a bad play because you can expect the pre-flop raiser to have a pair or have an ace pretty often, and we are never folding such hands to a wanted pot size bet, since the caller only needs to be right 1 out of 4 times. So yeah, pretty terrible play. When it's checked to me, I'll just stab at it. This guy might be giving up, and the board is so dry. Yeah, and it worked, so it's great. So about my image, you can see my own statistics: 33-28, 32-29. So I have a pretty aggressive image at most of the tables. But at the first table, I've been playing 8-4, so I think I can start bluffing a bit here. Whereas at maybe table 2, I should be becoming more careful. And also I should try to see which players are at multiple tables. So far, I think most of the players are different. Okay, we have this guy from Austria. He's at 2 on my tables. So I think he's a regular. I'm pretty certain he's a regular. And he has a very loose and aggressive style, I think. Queen Jack suited, I would just call. And when I flop nothing, I have 0 potential. My hand is total trash on this board, so I'm just giving up. Here he raises me. He could easily be bluffing here, but I mean, I'll just give him credit for now. Here, pocket 8s, I'm going to call here and hope to hit a set. Here I could just overbet and try to represent something, or I could just give up. And the fact that it's a paired board makes it much more likely that he could be trapping with like pocket aces or 9. I wouldn't be surprised. So generally on paired boards, when people check, I'm very, very cautious, and I would avoid bluffing at such boards. Just give up. I really have no potential to improve. Because paired boards are the only boards where people can flop full houses, and a full house is pretty invulnerable. Here I'm getting sick odds, but it might get me into trouble. For example, if I hit an 8, one of them might have Queen Jack or 7. And if I hit a 7, I'm not that thrilled as well. But I'll just call. Hopefully the 7. Oh, okay, great. But the flush completes, so it's not really a great situation for me. I'm not even sure that I can just bet out more value. And this is a really nasty spot. The flush hits. In fact, I might even just want to fold right away. But, I mean, they made it 1/5 of the pot. I think I'll just hero fold here. At the very best, I can split the pot by 2 8s, so that reduces the likelihood. And he bets out into 4 players out of position. I think he has a flush really often, so I'm just giving up. It's an insane fold, but I'll just do it. I would be surprised to see him bluffing here. I think he's really strong, and it's really likely that at least one of the 3 players will have a flush. So I'm not going to try to doubt him. Here he checks to me. I'm not sure whether it's a regular or not. I think it's a regular, but I'm going to be going for a triple barrel. I'll just bet the turn, bet the flop, bet the turn, and overbet the river just to force him out. Here, I actually made a mistake of folding. He made it a min raise. I should have called, and I could have continued on this flop for sure. I would have just let out on the flop. So he checked folds. pretty surprising. Maybe he check folded a hand like pocket 8s. I wouldn't be surprised. So the action has been quite slow, even though I'm on fast tables for 3 of the tables. Here 9-8, if the big blind is aggressive, I wouldn't steal. I'm not sure whether it's aggressive or not, so I'll just steal it and hope for the best. Yeah, oops, I wanted to raise it. I thought he was the big blind, but he leaned from under the gun. He's playing 47% of hands. I would want to isolate him with a wider range of hands. So yeah, bad fold. For example, if I raise, I would definitely just bluff at this flop. It's so dry. Here it's a 3-way pot. There are 2 Broadway cards, an ace and a 10. I do have a gut shot though, and I think I have a profitable steal here. I'm just risking 40 to win a pot of 110. And yeah, I can improve. Now I will be betting a bit more on the turn, and I'll make a small river bet. If he raises me, I can just puke because it will be such a nasty spot to play. But I would probably fold, or maybe just call the turn and fold the river, because he's representing a flush when he takes that line. But he might be doing it with some 2 pair or set. It really depends on how good or bad the player is. Here 8-5 is a pretty junky hand, but this guy's 7 over 30 hands. I think he's really tight. I'll just open any 2 cards from the small blind and keep stealing his blinds because it's so tight. So this is an example of an adjustment I can make. This is also a pretty crappy hand, but I'll just steal it again. I think this guy is so nitty that I can get away with it. Here I call pocket 5s from the big blind, and I flop nothing. If the board was lower, I might go for a check raise or check call, but on such a board, so many hands have so much equity against me. Like a hand like King Jack is a 40% favorite underdog against me. Here, this is not a very good hand, but once again, these 3 players are so tight. I'll just raise it again. Maybe one of them might choose to play back at me for raising 3 hands in a row. But I don't really care. I'm just going to be playing 40% of hands, probably. Here, I flop a gut shot. I'm probably betting the flop and the turn. I think he has so many jacks and random hands that he could be folding. So I want to be betting big. I want to fold a jack, so I need to apply more pressure. Here, let's make a half pot bet. Hope he folds. This board is kind of dry. This river is not good, so I'm giving up, and if he calls me with jack, I'll be pretty surprised. But he does have queen, and I guess my bet did what they were supposed to do, which was to fold out his second pair of hands. So I'm not really upset my play. I knew he's gonna have a queen some of the time. So while waiting for me to pick up a hand, let's look at other hands. I'm not sure whether there has been any other pot of interest involving the other players. I think there's nothing much on this particular table, table 2. This guy 12-7 over 42 hands makes a squeeze play at us, and I really have no business in the hand, just fold. Even though my hand is kind of pretty looking, but he's just going to have an overpair so often that I can't really do anything. Even if I do hit a draw, I'm not even a favorite against any hand. So pocket 3, should I bet or check down? I think this guy is passive, so I'll check.
Hey Galvin, let me pick up.
On table 2, it's a clear value bet, and on the river, I will be giving up. After the flush and straight completed, he's going to have a good amount of jacks in his range. Here, table 4, I'm just giving up. He's not folding a high diamond, and jack 10 is coordinated. And with queen 10 suited, I'm going to be waiting for pure value. So from this hand, we can deduce that this guy plays his draws aggressively. He check raise and double barrel. His open-ended. It's not a good play by him because when I'm squeezing here for value, when the second 6 comes, he might even be betting and calling the flop with a 6, and he cannot represent sets so well because it's way less likely he has pocket 6s now. So he should be giving up on the turn. We should expect the other guy to be only calling with top hand above, or calling with the exact same hand. Here my image is clean and he did call me, so if he doesn't raise me, I think I can triple barrel him, hoping to push pocket jacks and pocket 10s off. I also get to fall out a hand like ace queen, so I'm fine with the bet. But my main reason for squeezing there is to isolate the bet player. I think his calling range against my squeeze is going to be dominated greatly by my ace jack. He's going to have ace 10, ace 9, ace 8, king jack, queen jack, jack 10, and a whole lot of other rubbish like king queen, which I actually beat. So I am actually making this video series with the intention of promoting my book, The Art of Poker. This guy has been raising me quite a lot, so I'm just going to be 4-betting him. He called me. I think he's going to have a lot of stuff like ace queen, ace jack. I'll just make a 40% pot size bet and hope he folds. Although this board is not exactly the best. But I did, and it worked. Yeah, so I'm getting back to what I was talking about. So I've written this book to provide an instructive guide for low stakes players and live game players on how to play optimally and to use selective aggression to beat the games. And it is a pretty good guide. It provides step-by-step instruction on how one should analyze hands and think about the game. And it's also filled with colorful illustrations, which is, as far as I know, the first of its kind. And also, it has a lot of quiz questions to help illustrate concepts, and as well as how to adjust to different player types and table dynamics. So this should be pretty helpful. As far as I know, very few books have this quiz questions to help aid in the learning process. And also, yeah, it's written by me, and I have about 3 years of experience. And 3 years might seem little to some of you, but 3 years is really a lot of experience for an online player. I have played 2 million hands lifetime, and I've made 6-digit figures within these 3 years, and I have been fairly successful. I don't play full time. I am actually studying in university right now, so I think I've made a decent amount of money. Here 3-8 suited I'm folding given how aggressive this guy is. Yeah, and a lot of books out there are outdated and written by players who are not in tune with the game, with today's aggressive games. And yeah, I think my book provides a good guide on how to play a loose and aggressive style, and how to apply a lot of pressure on your opponents on many streets, and how to hand read pretty well. So hope you guys can check out my book. Here I'm going to be betting the flop, hoping he folds. Here ace queen suited is an easy defense against a lot of players. This guy is really tight. I think it's really tricky. I'll just call because it's suited. Offsuit I might even just fold right away. And it's a pretty easy defense from the cutoff and button against the average aggressive player, but like example, if this Saras guy raises me, I might even 4-bet it for value. But I think against this 17-11 guy, I'm really not thrilled about calling with my hand. So here in a three-way pot, they check and check and check. Question is, can I bluff them off a pair, or do I think I have the best hand? I think my ace high is good some of the time. I doubt I can represent an 8, I guess. I'll just bluff. I think they would full hand like pocket 5s to this bet. They seem to be on a... They're kind of loose, but I think they are not the type who like to hero call on the river. So I might have the best hand, but I think there's a good chance I was bluffing them off a better pair. Jack 9 is a bit loose, but this guy is loose, which is bad, but the other two guys are loose, which is good. I want to be playing in position with the initiative against them. This guy raises me. He has only 30 big blinds. I don't really know much about him. If he had 20 big blinds, I'll just ship it. And 30 big blinds is really tricky. Ace 10 is a call here. I will play 1 or 2 more hands and I'll end the video. I would call a half pot bet, but when he overbets the pot, I will just give up. This is an easy value raise. And since I do not really know much about the way he plays, I should just make a bet as a standard. I'm not going to complete such a weak hand like Jack 4 when this guy is a pretty tight limper, so I think he's going to be limping a lot of strong hands from under the gun as well. So I think we'll just do one more hand and I will wrap the video up. This is a very weak hand, but all three players are very tight, so I will choose to steal with it. So we just finish this hand and I'll end the video. So you can see this guy doesn't fold to a squeeze. Which is bad play, I would say. He can just call the flop, and this guy is never folding an overpair. And if he does have ace king, if he does hit an ace or king, he will continue betting. So it's not wise to just raise it right away. Here I don't have any heart, so I don't have a backdoor draw. I'll just check it down. He checks pretty quickly. Maybe he has a pair. I'm just going to bomb it and hope he folds a pair. Just try to wrap a king. I think he's quite weak. So I guess that's all for today's video. So see you guys next time.